Chosen ones, what I'm about to reveal is going to shake you. Are you ready for the truth? If you're here right now, know that it's no coincidence. You were meant to hear this. Something incredible is unfolding in your life, and you may not even realize it yet. Do you feel it? The energy shifting, the signs pointing to something greater that's just within reach. Let them throw stones. They're only stacking the foundation for the throne you'll sit on. While they drown in their own bitterness, you're drinking from the cup of destiny. And deep inside, they know the crown was never meant for them. That's why they hate you. A rising star doesn't need permission to shine, and neither do you. Before we dive deeper, I want to take a moment to thank all of you who have shown your support through Super Thanks. Your generosity and love mean the world to us, and we truly appreciate your contribution, whether big or small. Your kindness allows us to keep creating powerful content that inspires and empowers. Thank you for believing in this movement and helping us continue to spread the message. Your support, whether through a donation or simply by being here and engaging with us, keeps this community alive and thriving. Listen carefully. You weren't chosen for an average life. You were meant to stand out, to rise above, to make them uncomfortable just by being who you are. Have you ever wondered why your presence disrupts their peace? It's because their jealousy burns hot because they can't touch what was destined to be yours. No matter how many lies, tricks, or traps they set, every fake compliment, every backhanded remark, every attempt to block your path, it's all being recorded by the universe. Karma never forgets who needs to learn a lesson. The power you hold doesn't scare them because you're loud or flashy. It terrifies them because you're unstoppable. You don't break under pressure. Every time they think they've cornered you, you return even stronger. Doesn't that drive them insane? Your success is like rubbing salt in their wounds, and every scheme they create only makes your victories even sweeter. Let's be clear. You are not the villain in their story. They are the architects of their own downfall. The more they try to block your blessings, the bigger their own struggles become. Every ounce of energy they waste trying to bring you down is just tightening the trap around them. Karma doesn't just punish, it delivers justice with precision. And when the moment comes, it won't be quiet. It will be loud. It will be undeniable. They thought their jealousy was a weapon, but it was really a curse. Think about this. Every moment they spend hating you is like drinking poison and expecting you to suffer. They're digging their own graves while you continue to rise. That's what it means to be chosen. You're a force they can't contain, a light they can't dim. The more they obsess over you, the more they lose their way. Here's the irony. While they're hoping you fail, they're the ones sabotaging their own growth. Jealousy clouds their thinking, keeps them stuck in the same cycle of bitterness, while you keep moving forward like an unstoppable force. And that's what truly drives them crazy. Your existence proves that no attack against you will ever succeed. Deep down, they wish they were you. But instead of learning from you, they choose to hate. Instead of growing, they choose to stay in the shadows. That's the difference between you and them. You were chosen. They are trapped by their own envy. So let them talk, let them plot, let them doubt you. The universe is already moving in your favor. Their downfall is guaranteed. Not because you seek revenge, but because of their own actions. Karma is a mirror, and when they finally look into it, they won't like what they see. Stay steady, chosen ones. Your light is too strong to be dimmed. Their jealousy is nothing more than fuel for the fire that will consume them. And you, yes, you, the unstoppable, unshakable chosen one, thank you for standing strong, for walking this path with power and confidence. Whether you've just started or you've been on this journey for years, your energy is what keeps this movement alive. If this message resonates with you, If you're ready to embrace your full power and rise above the noise, then show the world. Drop a 777 in the comments, hit that like button, and let's claim what's meant for us. Now, let's break this down step by step. If you're truly chosen, you won't look away. You'll feel it. You'll know this message is for you. Stay with me. We're just getting started. May blessings and strength follow you on this journey. The universe is on your side, and your path is shining brighter than ever before. Keep walking in your light, knowing that karma always works in your favor. God's chosen ones, their downfall begins now. Karma has spoken. First, have you ever seen how when someone digs a pit for the chosen ones, they end up falling into it themselves? It's as though they believe they can harm you, trap you, or make you suffer, but the reality is always the same. Their plot only leads to their own undoing. The deeper they dig, the more they sink. They may laugh at you, mock your struggles, or try to diminish your worth. But the truth is this: the louder they laugh, the harder they fall. They don't realize that every scheme, every attempt to hurt you always comes back on them in ways they could never anticipate. The hit will be far harder than they ever expected. Why? Not because you fought back, but because karma never misses its mark. Think about this. Karma is not a force that acts hastily or recklessly. It is a deliberate, measured justice, much like God's own perfect judgment. Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Galatians 6:7. You've heard this verse before, haven't you? But have you ever truly reflected on it? When people seek to harm you through lies, deceit, or manipulation, they may seem to get away with it for a while. However, in the fullness of time, the universe will always correct what was broken. That is the power of God's justice at work. The more they plot against you, the more they sow seeds of their own destruction. Their actions set a trap, not for you, but for themselves. Let me remind you of an example from the life of King Saul and David. Saul, in his envy and fear of David's rising influence, tried everything in his power to kill him. He plotted, he manipulated, he chased David through the wilderness, and for a time it seemed like Saul was succeeding. David, though, never retaliated. He trusted in God's plan. Even when David had the chance to strike Saul, he chose to spare him, believing that God's justice would prevail. And, indeed, it did. In the end, it wasn't David who was brought down, but Saul, who met a tragic and self-inflicted downfall. God laughed at Saul's wickedness. The Bible says, "The wicked plot against the righteous and gnash their teeth at them, but the Lord laughs at the wicked, for he knows their day is coming." Psalm 37:12-13. Do you see? Saul's own actions led to his fall, not David's hand. Now, think about those times when people have tried to deceive you, lie about you, or sabotage your progress. Have you ever felt the sting of manipulation or the weight of someone's false accusations? What if I told you that the moment they made those moves against you, they unknowingly set a trap for themselves? Their lies were never going to harm you. They were only ever designed to destroy them. God's protection over you is greater than anything they can plan. Consider Joseph's story in the Old Testament. Joseph was sold into slavery by his own brothers, the very ones who should have supported him. His brothers, driven by jealousy, thought they could destroy his future by casting him into the pit of slavery. But Joseph's destiny could not be thwarted. He faced hardship, betrayal, and loneliness, yet he never wavered in his trust in God. Over time, his story unfolded not in defeat, but in triumph. The very brothers who betrayed him were later forced to come to him for help during a famine, not realizing the brother they had wronged was now in the position to save them. Do you see the divine irony? Joseph's enemies set the stage for their own defeat, not his. They thought they could kill his dreams, but God used their treachery to elevate Joseph's destiny. You see, karma, like God's hand of justice, moves with a purpose. It is never rushed. It works slowly, quietly, but with an unwavering finality. And just like God's divine protection, karma operates beyond human comprehension. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. That's not just a comforting thought, it's a declaration of divine truth. Karma works on behalf of the righteous, like a shield against those who would do harm. When they lie, manipulate, or try to destroy you, they may feel victorious for a time, but the weight of their jealousy, their deceit, will eventually crush them, not because you fought back, but because karma knows its target. It will turn their actions back upon them, and they will reap what they have sown. And here's the irony: the greatest exposure for your enemies will come when karma reveals the truth. It doesn't just punish them, it exposes them. They won't just face the consequences of their lies, but they will stand in front of everyone who ever trusted them, only to be exposed as frauds. The people who once cheered them on, believed their falsehoods, laughed at your struggles. They will be the very ones watching as their carefully constructed world unravels. Remember the story of Mahatma Gandhi, who faced centuries of oppression from the British Empire. Despite the constant efforts to discredit him, Gandhi held fast to his beliefs of non-violence and truth. Over time, the lies and schemes of the oppressors came crashing down, and Gandhi's message of peace and justice not only freed his people, but also inspired movements around the world. Those who once mocked him, underestimated him, or tried to silence him, eventually had to stand aside and acknowledge his triumph. The truth exposed the falsehoods of those who sought to destroy him. Do you see how the same law applies to you? Your enemies will one day be forced to reckon with the truth, and when they do, it will be in full view of everyone. Karma, like God's judgment, cannot be avoided. It works in mysterious ways, but it never fails. Vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. Romans 12:19. This isn't a passive statement. It's a declaration of divine retribution. You don't need to fight back, because God's justice will come when it's needed most. Karma works tirelessly to correct the wrongs done to you, and will ensure that those who have tried to harm you will face the consequences of their actions. You have been chosen, and this divine protection means that you are covered, always and forever. Chosen one, have you ever witnessed the moment when the mask slips? The moment when all the lies, all the deception come crumbling down, revealing the true intentions behind the facade. It's inevitable. When that moment comes, those same people who once supported or followed them will quickly turn their backs. There is nothing more painful than watching a reputation fall apart, crumbling under the weight of its own deception. How do you think it feels to realize that everything they've built is based on falsehoods? It burns them far more than it would ever burn you. You, the chosen one, don't need to lower yourself to their level. You don't need to play their games, engage in their deceit, or waste time trying to outmaneuver them. Why? Because you are not like them. While they're frantically running around trying to block your path, trying to impede your rise, you are still rising, unaffected by their schemes. Why? Because being chosen means being protected in ways they can never comprehend. The Bible tells us, "No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you." Isaiah 54:17. Do you see the significance of this? Your protection is divinely ordained, and no matter what they try to do, it will never succeed. They can attack you, try to hinder your progress, but they cannot stop your divine ascent. Why? Because their efforts are meaningless in the face of God's protection. Karma is at work, making sure that they fall into their own traps. Imagine their schemes as sandcastles, carefully built at the edge of the ocean. They put all their energy into constructing these falsehoods, thinking they can stand firm. But karma, like the tide, will always come in and wash it all away. No matter how hard they try to hold on, the waves will always rise higher and higher until everything they've built is destroyed. This isn't revenge. It's simply the natural order of the universe. The energy they put out into the world always comes back. And when it does, it strikes with perfect timing. It's the law of the universe, and it never fails. Consider the story of Martin Luther King Jr., a man who faced unimaginable hatred and attempts to break his spirit. Those who sought to silence him through violence and slander failed to understand one thing: his mission was divinely ordained. No matter how many obstacles they threw in his way, his message of peace, love, and justice continued to rise, inspiring millions across the world. King didn't need to stoop to their level. He remained true to his purpose, and karma worked in his favor, bringing about a new era of civil rights, while those who sought to destroy him eventually fell into their own traps. Have you ever wondered, why isn't this working? Why can't they take the chosen one down? It's because you are untouchable. Your spirit is made for something greater, something they will never understand. The Bible reminds us in Psalm 91, 7 through 8, 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. You're untouchable because God's protection surrounds you. Every attempt to stop you only makes you stronger, while their own envy pulls them further and further down. Think of Nelson Mandela, a man who spent 27 years in prison, subjected to unjust treatment, and yet never allowed his spirit to be broken. His oppressors tried to silence him, to diminish his power, but they couldn't touch his vision or his faith. Mandela's resilience came from a source far greater than anything they could fathom, and in the end, those who tried to suppress him fell, while he became a symbol of justice and reconciliation, ultimately leading a nation toward healing and unity. His rise was unstoppable because his spirit was made for something greater than their petty efforts to hold him down. And so, the answer is clear. You are untouchable, chosen one. Your purpose is protected, and no matter how many times they try to block your path, karma will ensure their downfall. Every attempt they make to stop you only serves to strengthen you, to elevate you further. The more they try to pull you down, the higher you will rise, because your spirit is built for greatness, and their efforts are doomed from the start. The truth always wins, and you are a living example of that truth in action. Chosen one, do you know what makes karma even more powerful? It loves an audience. Karma doesn't just balance the scales in private. It ensures that everyone witnesses the truth. Why? Because divine justice isn't just about setting things right. It's about showing the world that truth always triumphs. When someone attempts to deceive or hurt you, they might think they can get away with it in the shadows. But karma makes sure that their lies collapse in front of everyone they tried to fool. Isn't that something? Those who once doubted you, those who laughed at your struggles, will one day see exactly how divine justice works. It won't just be a quiet victory for you. It will be a spectacle for all to witness. And when that moment comes, when their lies finally unravel, everyone who ever believed in them will see how hollow their words really were. Their deception will be exposed, their credibility shattered. Do you ever wonder who will witness their downfall? The same people who once sided with them, who believed their lies, will now be forced to see their true nature. In the Bible, we read that, "For the word of the Lord is right and true. He is faithful in all he does." Psalm 33:4. The Lord sees the heart of every person and knows the truth of every situation. While they tried to deceive you, God was watching, and he will bring everything into the light. Their lies will be exposed, and it will be clear to all that you were the one who was faithful. Your integrity will shine through, and the deception will crumble in the face of the truth. And this is what being chosen means. You don't just survive their attacks, you thrive in spite of them. Have you ever noticed how when you rise above their negativity, when you continue to move forward despite their efforts to tear you down, you seem to grow stronger, more resilient? That's because you're not fighting alone. You have divine protection, and your purpose is anchored in something much greater than their petty schemes. Every attack against you only serves to fuel your rise, to propel you toward greater heights. Take a moment and think about the story of Joseph in the Bible. He was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, and falsely accused of wrongdoing. But instead of allowing bitterness to control him, Joseph trusted God's plan. He didn't just survive his trials, he thrived. In the end, his brothers came to him in desperation, not realizing that it was the very brother they had wronged who held the power to save them. His rise was not just about him, it was about everyone seeing the truth of God's justice. And in the process, the failure of his brothers became a lesson for all who witnessed it. Think about Oprah Winfrey, a woman who faced countless obstacles and discrimination on her rise to success. Early in her career, many doubted her potential, mocked her aspirations, and even tried to hold her back. But instead of falling into despair, Oprah thrived. She didn't just survive their criticism, she thrived in spite of it. Today, she stands as one of the most influential women in the world, and those who once doubted her are left to reckon with their own short-sightedness. Her success became a lesson in perseverance, resilience, and the power of believing in your own purpose. And consider Abraham Lincoln, who faced severe opposition and ridicule throughout his journey. Many doubted his leadership abilities, mocked his humble beginnings, and predicted failure. Yet Lincoln thrived despite the attacks. He became one of the most revered presidents in American history, and the lessons learned from his perseverance and character resonate to this day. His story serves as a reminder that the truth cannot be silenced, and those who try to stop you will eventually witness their own defeat. So, chosen one, when you rise, you don't just rise alone. Your victory becomes a powerful testimony for those around you. Those who sought to harm you, those who plotted against you, will eventually see that their lies and attacks were nothing but temporary obstacles in the path that was meant for you. And when karma works its magic, it ensures that everyone sees. Their failure becomes a lesson that resonates with everyone watching. Chosen one, karma's justice isn't quiet. It's not subtle or something that happens behind the scenes. It's loud, undeniable, and inescapable. Have you ever wondered how it feels when someone who has wronged you finally faces the consequences of their actions? The world around them begins to fall apart, and they are left standing in the ruins of their own deceit. Karma ensures that the truth is not hidden, it is revealed for all to see. There's no escaping it. They won't be able to blame you for their downfall, because they'll be forced to confront the truth. They were their own worst enemy all along. Have you ever watched someone try to escape the consequences of their actions, only to see them sink deeper and deeper into their own web of lies? Karma doesn't need you to take action. It operates on its own, ensuring that their deeds come back to them. They thought they could destroy you, but instead they built their own trap. They planted the seeds of their own downfall, and now they must face what they have sown. The Bible tells us, "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." Romans 12:21. This is exactly what you've done. You chose not to stoop to their level, not to engage in their games, but to keep walking your path with your head held high. You stayed true to your purpose, and while they wasted their energy trying to harm you, karma worked silently in the background, ensuring that their fall would be inevitable and public. And here's the beauty of it. You never had to chase revenge. You didn't need to stoop to their level or fight fire with fire. You stood firm, focused on your journey, knowing that karma would take care of the rest. You were never in the business of settling scores. Your rise was always about your purpose, and the universe handled everything else. Let's think about Abraham Lincoln for a moment. Lincoln faced constant attacks and opposition during his presidency. His political enemies tried to ruin him, spreading lies and undermining his efforts at every turn. But Lincoln didn't engage with their tactics. He focused on his mission to abolish slavery, to unite the nation, and to move forward. His dignity and commitment to his cause spoke louder than any slander. And in the end, it was Lincoln's integrity and vision that endured, while those who sought to destroy him were forgotten. Karma worked in his favor, ensuring that history would remember him as one of the greatest leaders in American history. You, chosen one, are no different. Every attack against you becomes another stepping stone in your journey. Every lie they told, every attempt to bring you down, only strengthens your resolve. And the best part is that karma ensures that they will be weighed down by their own deceit. The energy they sent out into the world with the intent to harm you will always return to them, and it will return with perfect timing. Their efforts to destroy you only serve to fuel your growth. Let them watch. Let them sit there, frustrated, wondering why their plans backfired. Karma has made sure that their downfall is just as loud as their envy once was. Have you ever wondered what it will feel like when they realize the truth? When they finally see that their efforts were futile, that all their manipulation and malice couldn't touch you, the echoes of their regret will last far longer than the laughter and the mockery they directed toward you. They'll have no choice but to see that karma's justice is perfect. It is not rushed, it is not accidental, it always comes at the right time. And when it does, it will be undeniable. Consider Nelson Mandela, who faced decades of imprisonment, hatred, and attempts to break him. His enemies tried everything to crush his spirit, but Mandela remained unshaken. He stayed true to his vision for a free and equal South Africa, even when it seemed like the world had abandoned him. Mandela's enemies didn't realize it at the time, but they were only strengthening his legacy. When he was finally released from prison and became president, it wasn't just his victory. It was the defeat of those who tried to break him. His rise was the ultimate triumph of truth over lies. His story became a living testament to the fact that karma works for the righteous. And when you stay true to your purpose, the universe will make sure you prevail. And you'll still be standing, still thriving, still chosen. The Bible says, "The righteous will flourish like a palm tree. They will grow like a cedar of Lebanon." Psalm 92:12. Your foundation is solid, rooted in truth, and you will continue to rise above their petty attempts to bring you down. No matter how many lies they tell, no matter how many traps they set, you are untouchable. Their words will fall away, and you will remain standing. In the end, their failure is karma's masterpiece, and your success is the final stroke that completes it. You are the proof that divine justice works. You are the embodiment of the truth that never fails. They start to understand that your strength is not just a defense mechanism, but a reflection of their own insecurities. The more they try to tear you down, the more they reveal their own weaknesses. The contrast between your unwavering dignity and their festering bitterness grows clearer by the day, making their discomfort unbearable. How much longer can they live with the truth? How much longer can they sit in their regret, knowing that you were always the one who was right? Chosen one, the true power of karma lies in its effortless execution. It requires nothing from you. It's too late for them now. They are stuck in the ruins of their own making, watching helplessly as you continue to flourish. Have you ever wondered what it's like for them to watch your success as they fall deeper into their own pit? Every effort they put forth to undermine you has only led to their own downfall. The harder they tried to bury you, the higher you soared, and they are left grappling with the consequences of their own toxicity. You, on the other hand, remain untouchable, a living testament to the undeniable truth that no amount of envy, no scheme, no malicious intent can stop someone destined for greatness. Karma always delivers, and when it does, the echoes of its lesson are deafening. Do you ever wonder how karma works without your involvement? It doesn't need your intervention. Karma operates in silence, moving with a precision that requires no effort on your part. You don't need to lift a finger or seek revenge. Karma does the work for you, restoring balance in a way that's often poetic and always just. It doesn't rely on dramatic confrontations or loud gestures. Instead, it quietly weaves a web of consequences, so intricate that those who sought to harm you find themselves trapped in their own schemes. Can you see how karma works quietly, like a gentle force, yet it always catches up with those who act maliciously? The very same traps they set for you become the obstacles that trip them up. They thought they were in control, that they had the upper hand, but karma is always a step ahead, orchestrating their downfall with ruthless efficiency. The Bible tells us, "For whatever a man sows, that he will also reap." Galatians 6:7. Do you believe that every action we take has a ripple effect, creating consequences that will one day return to us? Every action they took against you, every moment they tried to bring you down, was carefully recorded, building up to the moment when everything would turn against them. Karma does not forget, and as they struggle in silence, you continue to rise higher than ever, untouchable and unbothered. Consider the story of Howard Schultz, the former CEO of Starbucks. Schultz grew up in a poor neighborhood, and when he saw the potential for a coffee company that would provide a unique experience, he faced extreme resistance. Early on, many doubted his vision and ridiculed the idea of a premium coffee shop. He was told it would never succeed, but instead of letting their mockery hold him back, Schultz used it to fuel his drive. Starbucks became a global powerhouse, and those who doubted him were left watching as his vision turned into one of the most influential brands in the world. The very people who sought to shut him down became the reason for his ultimate success. Can you see how every moment of doubt can fuel the fire of success for someone destined for greatness? Karma turned their disbelief into fuel for his rise. Karma always delivers, and it does so in ways that make it clear their actions were never unnoticed. Every lie, every manipulation, and every act of jealousy was carefully recorded, building up to the moment when it would come back around to them. Meanwhile, you remain untouched. Have you ever thought about how every obstacle they put in your way seemed to only make you stronger, more resilient? Does it surprise you that karma works through you, turning their negativity into the very force that helps you thrive? Karma doesn't need your intervention. It does the work for you. And when it hits, it's like a perfectly timed storm that uproots all the negative energy they've sent your way. Take the example of Malala Yousafzai, who, at a young age, was attacked for advocating girls' education in Pakistan. Her critics thought they could silence her with violence, but instead of breaking her, their cruelty became the driving force behind her global movement. Malala survived the attack and went on to become the youngest ever Nobel Peace Prize laureate, inspiring millions around the world. Can you imagine the power of standing up after being pushed down? Karma ensured her enemies were exposed as they tried to destroy a young girl's dream of education, and in doing so, empowered her voice to be heard around the world. Karma turns their hatred into the very force that propels you forward. Their actions, their negativity, their false narratives all become the raw material that fuels your success. Do you see how every lie they told about you only expands your reach and grows your influence? The roadblocks they set for you became the training ground for your resilience, and every false word they spread only expanded your reach, pulling in more people who support your truth. The energy they wasted trying to break you only served to elevate you, propelling you into a future they can never reach. Consider Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who faced significant challenges in his early life and career. Despite being cut from his college football team and failing in his first attempts at professional wrestling, he didn't let those setbacks define him. People mocked him for trying to make a career in wrestling, but he turned their doubts into motivation, eventually becoming one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood. His journey is a testament to how karma works, not through revenge, but through resilience and success in the face of adversity. Karma turned every no he received into a yes, every rejection into a motivation, and his success became the ultimate lesson for those who doubted him. And as all of this unfolds, karma ensures they see it all. Can you feel the weight of watching those who tried to break you witness your rise? You continue to rise, and as you do, your enemies watch in despair. They cannot escape the truth that their actions were never about you. They were about their own insecurities, their own fears. And now, karma makes sure they face the consequences of their own actions. You rise higher, they fall lower, and the lesson is clear. Karma always restores balance, and those who sow negativity will ultimately reap the consequences of their actions. You are the living proof that no matter what they do, your light will always shine brighter. Chosen one, karma doesn't need an audience. It doesn't seek applause or approval. It works quietly but effectively, ensuring that everyone ultimately receives exactly what they deserve. Have you ever wondered how it feels when karma works in the background, ensuring justice without anyone needing to intervene? It doesn't need your attention, nor does it require a dramatic display. It moves with a quiet precision, guaranteeing that those who sow negativity eventually reap its consequences. Obsession is the slow poison that your enemies willingly consume, believing that their fixation on you somehow gives them power. Do you know what happens when someone becomes consumed by jealousy and resentment? They think that watching your every move will somehow make them stronger, but in reality, it only weakens them. The truth is, the more they focus on you, the less they focus on themselves. Instead of building their own success, they waste their energy analyzing your every step, hoping for your downfall and wishing for your failure. The Bible says, "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." Romans 12:21. Have you ever seen someone so obsessed with tearing down another person that they lose sight of their own purpose? That is the power of obsession, a force that leads them further away from their goals and into their own spiral of self-destruction. While they obsess, you progress. While they stew in their envy, you build. Their obsession blinds them, keeping them stuck in a never-ending cycle of bitterness and regret. Do you see how their focus on you has become the very thing that hinders their growth? They watch your victories with resentment, not realizing that their attention only fuels your rise. The energy they pour into tearing you down could have been used to elevate themselves, but instead it becomes their burden, an anchor that keeps them stagnant while you soar. The Bible tells us, "The wicked man flees though no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion." Proverbs 28:1. While they hide in fear and bitterness, you march forward undeterred, because your focus is where it belongs, on your own path and growth. Karma steps in, ensuring that their obsession becomes their punishment. It doesn't need to intervene directly. Their own choices set the stage for their suffering. Have you noticed how the more obsessed they become with your life, the more their own life falls apart? They miss opportunities because they're too busy watching yours. Instead of seizing their own chances, they waste their time comparing themselves to you. Karma doesn't need to take action. Their own choices become the catalyst for their downfall. Consider Tiger Woods, who, after enduring years of public scrutiny and personal mistakes, could have allowed his critics and detractors to keep him down. Instead, he focused on rebuilding himself, staying true to his passion for golf. His critics, however, remained stuck in their obsession, endlessly tearing him down. Woods didn't need to react to them. His success and resilience spoke louder than any of their attacks. Karma worked quietly in the background, and eventually Woods rose to win major championships again, while his detractors stayed stuck in their own bitterness. They push people away with their negativity, ruining relationships and burning bridges. Have you noticed how toxic people often push away those who would have supported them? They become so consumed with trying to undermine you that they fail to see the cracks forming in their own foundation. Their obsession takes them away from the very people and opportunities that could help them thrive. Their actions create a foundation of sand, and eventually it all crumbles beneath them. Think of Lance Armstrong, who for years maintained his public image while secretly being involved in performance-enhancing drug use. His obsession with being the best at any cost ultimately led him to betray his own values and destroy the relationships around him. When the truth finally came to light, it wasn't just his reputation that was ruined, it was his entire legacy. The obsession with being number one, without regard for ethics, ultimately became his punishment, and karma ensured that those who sought to tear down others would end up ruining themselves in the process. And when they finally realize the damage they've done to themselves, it's too late. How often do people only realize their mistakes when they can no longer turn back the clock? The damage is irreversible. Their obsession has caused them to lose focus on what really matters, and in the end, they will find themselves with nothing but the ruins of their own making. Karma will be there, quietly reminding them of every choice they made along the way. The echoes of their own regrets will become deafening, and there will be no one left to blame but themselves. Chosen one, you were never the problem. The real issue lies in their inability to focus on their own journey. Have you ever wondered why some people spend so much time focusing on you while their own path gets ignored? They have been so consumed by jealousy, envy, or bitterness that they've lost sight of their own potential. But by the time they come to this realization, they find themselves left behind, watching as you continue to succeed while they remain stuck in the same negative cycle that has held them back from the start. Does it surprise you that their fixation on you only makes them fall further behind? The Bible reminds us, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." Matthew 6:21. Their heart was never on their own growth, but rather on trying to hinder yours. They focused on you, believing that doing so would somehow give them an advantage. But the truth is, the more they obsess over you, the less they focus on the one thing that truly matters, their own path. This diversion of focus has led them to stagnation, while you continue to move forward. The harder they try to dim your light, the more karma exposes their true nature. Have you noticed how people's true colors are revealed the more they fight against you? It's as if the universe itself works over time to show them for who they really are. Their actions, fueled by malice or insecurity, only bring their flaws to the surface. Karma shines a light on their bitterness, revealing the truth to everyone around them. The more they try to pull you down, the more they expose their own vulnerabilities. Consider Ellen DeGeneres, who spent years building a successful career and being adored by fans. However, when certain scandals regarding the toxic work culture behind the scenes came to light, her image took a huge hit. Her success was once celebrated, but her failure to focus on improving her environment and the people around her ultimately led to her downfall. Karma worked to expose the truth, and her light began to dim as her actions were revealed. The more she tried to maintain the facade of kindness and success, the more karma exposed the truth about the toxicity beneath the surface. Karma always reveals the truth, and it will do so in a way that leaves no room for doubt. While they sit there, consumed by bitterness, you continue to rise, unbothered by their attempts to undermine you. Why is it that no matter how much they try to pull you down, you keep soaring? Because your focus is on what truly matters, your growth, your journey, your light, while they remain trapped in negativity and obsession. Their fixation on you is their downfall, and karma is always at work, making sure that their envy only strengthens your rise. Let's think about Rihanna, who faced constant criticism in the early years of her career. People doubted her abilities, mocked her music, and questioned her success. Yet, she didn't let their negativity define her. Instead, she focused on her own path, growing her career and expanding into business ventures. Today, Rihanna is a successful entrepreneur and one of the biggest global pop stars, while many of her critics remain in the shadows. Their attempts to dim her light only pushed her to shine brighter. Karma ensured that her enemies' voices were drowned out by her success, and now they are left watching as she continues to thrive. The truth is, you were never the problem, they were. Their inability to focus on their own path has been their downfall, while you remained focused on your journey, unaffected by their negativity. The more they try to bring you down, the more they reveal their own weaknesses. Karma exposes their true nature, and the lesson is clear. Those who focus on tearing others down only bring harm to themselves. As they watch you succeed, they are forced to reckon with the consequences of their own bitterness and envy. Chosen one, jealousy is not a strength. It's a weakness that disguises itself as power. Have you ever seen someone believe that tearing another person down somehow makes them stronger? The truth is, jealousy is a fragile emotion, built on insecurity and fear. Your enemies don't resent you because of what you have. They resent you because of what they lack. Every attempt they make to sabotage you only highlights their own insecurities. Why do they target you? It's because your success exposes their fear of failure. They see your light and mistake it for something that diminishes theirs. They tell lies to turn others against you, but karma ensures that the truth is revealed in the most humiliating way. Have you ever watched someone spread rumors only to see those very rumors unravel their own credibility? What they thought would be a weapon against you ends up being their downfall. The more they try to deceive, the more the truth becomes apparent to everyone around them. Karma doesn't need your help. It ensures that the web they spin will eventually entangle them. Their deceit only exposes their fragility. The Bible tells us, "A false witness will not go unpunished, and he who pours out lies will not go free." Proverbs 19:5. Do you believe that truth always finds its way to the surface? Even the most well-crafted lies have a way of breaking apart when they are exposed to the light. Karma doesn't just punish the liar, it ensures that their lies become the very reason for their destruction. They spread rumors, but those rumors only end up unraveling their credibility. The harder they push against you, the harder they fall. They wanted to see you fail, but all they did was create the circumstances for their own downfall. How often do we see people who try to bring others down only to find that their efforts backfire? Karma is always a step ahead, and when they least expect it, it brings the truth to light in the most inconvenient time for your enemies. The cracks in their carefully crafted facade become undeniable, and their weaknesses are laid bare for all to see. The Bible reminds us, "For nothing is hidden that will not be disclosed, or concealed that will not be known." Luke 8:17. Their secrets are no longer safe, and their attempts to deceive the world will only lead to their exposure. The people who once believed their lies start to see through the act, realizing that the person they tried to demonize was never the villain. Their credibility crumbles, and they have no one to blame but themselves. Meanwhile, you continue to rise. While they struggle with their bitterness, While they make desperate attempts to drag you down, you remain unaffected. Do you see how your growth and success are the true proof of their failure? Their schemes, their bitterness, their desperate attempts to derail you, they all fail because you refuse to be moved by their negativity. Every success you achieve is a silent reminder to them of what they could have had if they had focused on their own growth instead of obsessing over yours. Your ability to rise above their hate shows the power of staying true to your path and not letting others dictate your future. But that's the beauty of karma. It forces them to confront the truth they've been avoiding all along. Have you ever felt that satisfaction when the truth finally comes to light? Karma doesn't need to strike immediately. It builds momentum until the moment of reckoning is inevitable. Once they see it, there's no escaping it. The arrows they shot at you never reach their target. Instead, they ricochet, returning to them with ruthless precision. That's karma's masterpiece, the backfire effect. Have you noticed how the people who think they're untouchable, who believe their schemes are flawless, are often the ones who fall the hardest? They believed they were in control, that they were one step ahead. But karma has been watching all along, waiting for the perfect moment to turn the tables. The lies they spread, the opportunities they tried to steal, the doors they tried to close in your face, all of it comes back to haunt them. They think they've won, that they've succeeded in making your life difficult. But just as they celebrate their perceived victory, karma delivers its blow with devastating accuracy. Their joy is short-lived, and their downfall is inevitable. Consider Bill Gates, who faced intense scrutiny and criticism early in the rise of Microsoft. Many believed the company was destined to fail, or that Gates was just another businessman looking to get rich off the backs of others. Instead of retaliating against his critics, Gates continued to innovate, and Microsoft became one of the most successful companies in history. Those who doubted him, who tried to bring him down, were left to watch as he and his company rose to the top. Karma didn't require Gates to fight back. It allowed his success to be the ultimate response to the negativity and criticism. Another example is Malcolm X, who was a victim of defamation and violence. Despite facing fierce opposition and injustice, he remained steadfast in his commitment to social justice. His enemies thought their efforts to destroy him would silence him, but instead they created a movement that would influence generations to come. Karma ensured that his enemies' actions were the catalyst for his eventual legacy, and the very efforts they took to harm him helped to propel his message to global recognition. And think about Lady Gaga, who faced constant scrutiny and harsh criticism early in her career. People mocked her style, her sound, and her persona, yet she continued to stay true to herself. Her critics' scorn became the fuel for her success. And today, Lady Gaga is one of the biggest names in music and entertainment. Her critics are left in the dust while she flourishes. Karma turned their ridicule into a driving force that only propelled her forward. Chosen one, every action meant to harm you only accelerates their downfall. Have you ever wondered how someone's attempt to bring you down only propels you forward? They don't realize that by putting negativity out into the world, they were writing the script for their own misfortune. The very doors they slammed shut on you, those doors they thought would lock you out, become the doors that are forever closed to them. The trust they broke in others becomes the foundation of their own isolation. They thought they were orchestrating your failure, but in reality, they were setting themselves up for their own destruction. The Bible reminds us, "Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows." Galatians 6:7. Have you noticed how karma always ensures the truth prevails? Every lie they told, every plot to bring you down, is only creating the circumstances for their own demise. They sowed negativity, and now they must face the consequences. The more they try to hurt you, the more karma ensures they experience the repercussions of their own actions. And the most brutal part, they never see it coming. Isn't it fascinating how some people believe they can escape the consequences of their actions, only to find out that karma has been watching them all along? It's almost laughable how confident they are in their ability to avoid retribution, but karma never forgets. It waits for the perfect moment, when they're at their most confident, when they think they've outsmarted you, and then it strikes with force. The Bible tells us, "The wicked man flees though no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion." Proverbs 28:1. While they run from their guilt, you continue to stand strong in your truth. The true punishment is not your revenge. It's watching you thrive despite everything they tried to do. Have you ever noticed how success in itself becomes the greatest form of justice? Your growth and success become the proof that their envy could never harm you. While they were focused on tearing you down, you were building yourself up, and now they have no choice but to watch you rise. Karma ensures they face the reality of their choices in the most undeniable way, by making you the living proof that their efforts were futile. Consider Ariana Grande, who was severely criticized after her relationship with Pete Davidson. Instead of letting the negativity define her, she continued to thrive in her career, becoming even more successful. Her critics thought they could bring her down with public scrutiny, but instead, Ariana's focus on her music and growth made her more powerful. Karma didn't need to intervene directly. Her resilience and success became the greatest form of justice, showing that the opinions of others cannot define someone's future. Their bitterness only propelled her rise. You didn't have to fight back, you didn't have to play their game, and yet you still won. That's the ultimate karmic lesson. Their envy didn't destroy you, it only exposed them. Their hatred didn't stop your progress, it only fueled it. The more they tried to break you, the stronger you became. And now they are left with nothing but the realization that their downfall was never caused by you, but by their own choices. Karma's brilliance lies in the fact that it reveals everything in the perfect moment, leaving no one to blame but themselves. Take the story of J.K. Rowling, who, after facing rejection from multiple publishers, was told that her Harry Potter series would never succeed. Critics mocked her, saying a children's book about magic could never make it. But Rowling didn't let their negativity break her. She stayed true to her vision. The very people who doubted her helped fuel her determination to succeed. Today, her success is undeniable. She is one of the most successful authors in history, while her critics remain in the background, watching her triumph. Karma ensured that their rejection became the fuel for her success. The Bible also tells us, "The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone." Psalm 118:22. Do you see how rejection can transform into the foundation of success? Every attempt to diminish you becomes the building block of your rise. Karma ensures that their rejection becomes your strength. And then there's Tyler Perry, who faced numerous hardships early in his career. He was homeless for a time and had to endure countless rejections before he found success in his unique voice and storytelling. People who rejected him believed his works would never succeed, but he stayed true to his vision. Today, Tyler Perry's name is synonymous with success in the entertainment industry. Karma ensured that their rejection turned into the foundation of his massive empire, proving that their doubts only pushed him further toward greatness. Karma doesn't need your involvement. You didn't have to stoop to their level. They did all the work for themselves. By trying to bring you down, they only ensured that their downfall was inevitable. Karma doesn't rush. It waits for the perfect moment to strike, and when it does, the result is always devastatingly accurate. Beloved chosen one, the very person they tried to defeat has become the example they need to learn from. but it's too late for them to change course. They spent too much time focusing on the wrong things, and now they're trapped in the consequences of their own making. Karma's justice is precise and undeniable. It doesn't need loud proclamations or dramatic scenes. It simply ensures that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The universe works quietly, but with perfect timing, making sure that those who seek to harm others will ultimately fall to their own mistakes. And as your enemies struggle to understand why everything is falling apart for them, you continue to rise, unbothered and unstoppable. Let them watch, let them wonder, let them sit with the weight of their own choices. Karma has spoken, and its lesson is clear. Those who seek to harm others will always be the architects of their own downfall. So, my beloved chosen family, keep moving forward. Keep shining. Let karma do the rest. You are on the path to greatness, and nothing can hold you back. If this message has resonated with you, and if you feel it has touched your heart, we invite you to show your support in a way that helps us continue to create meaningful content just for you. Click the Super Thanks button on your YouTube screen. Your love and support, whether through a donation or simply by sharing your time and encouragement, mean more to us than words can express. Each gesture of kindness helps us keep pushing forward and spreading the messages of empowerment and truth. We are truly grateful for every ounce of love and encouragement you offer. Every click, every share, every message, all of it fuels our commitment to continue creating content that inspires and uplifts. Thank you for being such an incredible, supportive community. Your presence here, your engagement, and your thoughtful feedback are what make this journey so meaningful for us. We are deeply honored by your trust and inspired by the energy you share with us. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without your support. You, the chosen ones, are the reason we keep going, pushing forward with even more passion, heart, and dedication. Your belief in us and the work we do keeps us motivated, and we are incredibly blessed to have each and every one of you as part of this community. As we part ways for now, I want to leave you with a special blessing. May your heart always be filled with peace, and may your mind stay focused on your highest purpose. May strength and resilience be the foundation upon which you continue to rise, and may grace guide every step you take, leading you to even greater heights. Karma is always watching over you, ensuring that every effort you put forth is met with the same energy you give. Keep trusting in your journey, and remember that your light is unstoppable. May love surround you in every moment, and may you find yourself continuously elevated, untouched by the negativity of others. You are truly chosen, and your light will never go dim. It will only grow brighter with time. Take care, and remember, this journey you're on is one of growth, strength, and purpose. We will see you again in the next video, where we continue this journey together. Until then, may blessings and prosperity follow you every step of the way, and may peace be with you always. Goodbye for now, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your unwavering support. You are truly appreciated.